When my mom said we couldn't swing the plane tickets, I got it. I cried quietly, then moved on. But then my aunt tagged my mom in a post by mistake. Poolside, drink in hand, grinning from ear to ear. Best family getaway ever. They'd lied. I turned to my husband and whispered, "Get the lawyer on the phone." 5 minutes later, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. My name's Maya, I'm 30. Eldest daughter, the one who plans everything. I'm the one who knows everyone's flight schedules, dietary restrictions, and how to reboot my parents' Wi-Fi. I'm a project coordinator at a modest design firm. I'm married to Alex, who has a calm that soothes people just by being near. In my family, I've always been the organized one, which morphed into the fixer, and somehow ended up as the one who foots the bill. My younger sister, Leela, is 26 and the golden child. She's witty, camera-ready, always on the cusp of something grand. Her posts say things like, chasing prosperity asterisk, and my mom sprinkles them with sparkly emojis like she's rooting for a star. If I mention budgets, mom calls me pessimistic. If Leela mentions a startup idea, mom says she's destined for greatness. I'm used to being the invisible pillar only noticed when it wobbles. I keep things smooth. I say okay a lot. I send money marked just until next week asterisk, then don't chase it. I tell myself that's what dutiful kids do when their parents say they're strapped. You help. You don't demand receipts. 2 months back, mom called, voice heavy, saying, "We can't afford the tickets for your birthday. Prices are wild." I believed her. I cried softly after hanging up because the plan was for my parents to finally visit our home, to sleep in the guest room we'd pieced together with thrift store treasures. I told Alex I understood. He held me and I let it go. Tickets cost a fortune. Times are tough. I get it. 3 weeks later, we were at my cousin's housewarming. I was topping up the ice bucket, dodging the cheese board overflow on their new rug when Aunt Carol yelled, "Group picture!" Everyone shuffled to the new pool deck. Bare feet, plastic cups, someone's phone blasting a song from our teenage years. I stood aside holding a cousin's baby while Aunt Carol snapped a dozen photos. That night, scrolling on the couch, I saw the posts. The pool, the drinks with frosted rims, the inflatable flamingo. Then I saw it. Aunt Carol's post, public, tagging everyone in her excitement. There was Mom, on that same pool deck, drink in hand, smiling so wide I could see every tooth. Caption, best family trip ever. Son laughs, no worries. Tags, Mom, Dad, Leela, Uncle Dan, 3 cousins. Mom had untagged herself from her own page, but Aunt Carol's tag lingered in the original post. Alex leaned over. "Is that?" "It's Mom," I said. "That's the resort near the airport, the one with cheap deals." He stayed quiet at first, just sat with me as my ears rang with that hot, empty hum before you start hyperventilating. I texted Mom, 3 words. "How was it?" She replied with a heart emoji. Then, "Oh, that last-minute thing, Leela had miles, I typed back. "You couldn't afford to visit us, but you went on a trip." She wrote, "You're twisting it, Maya, it was a gift." I set my phone down, picked it up, stared at the photo again. Mom in the straw hat I'd praised last summer when she said she couldn't buy a new one. The caption glowed. The comments glowed. My brain, wired to track money like a storm tracker, started penciling through the fog. "We saved for their travel fund," I said softly, $200 a month for nearly a year so they could visit. They'd said they'd keep it until fares dropped. Alex didn't preach. He never does. He just asked, "Want to dig into where the money went?" "Yes," I said, "and I'm scared of what I'll find." He nodded, took my hand, and said, steady as ever, "Then we look, then we decide." I opened my laptop. That night I did nothing else. No calls, no texts, just stared at Mom's drink, the sugar rim glinting in the sun, and felt something shift inside me. Not rage, not yet, something colder, a boundary drawn by a steady hand. I barely slept. In the morning I brewed coffee, sat at the kitchen table, and pulled up my bank records. I felt like I might vomit. A week later, I walked into a bank with Alex on my left and a woman in a navy suit on my right. She was a lawyer recommended by a friend. I carried a printout that could silence a crowd. By the time we reached the car, my phone was relentless. People think these moments erupt suddenly. They don't. They pile up like a cluttered drawer. One paperclip, one expired coupon, one pen that doesn't work. One day, the drawer jams and you're somehow surprised. We weren't wealthy growing up, not struggling either, comfortable but cautious. In our family, that meant 2 things. There was always enough for Leela's needs, and mine came with a sermon. When Leela wanted dance lessons, Mom found a grant and a ride. When I needed a graphing calculator, Dad said, "Can't you borrow one?" Then joked that math shouldn't involve letters. If Leela forgot her lunch, Mom drove across town. If I forgot mine, I drank water. By high school, I tracked everything in spreadsheets, college apps, bus routes, coffee shop shifts to afford textbooks. Leela had a vision board binder. Mom snapped photos and posted them with captions like, "My dreamer girl." When I showed Mom my spreadsheet, she said, "That's intense, honey." Money snuck into conversations indirectly. My parents never told Leela, "We can't afford it." They said, "We'll make it work." With me it was, "Be practical." When I got a partial scholarship to a state college, I offered to cover the rest with loans. Mom hugged me, crying like I'd chosen destitution. 2 weeks later, she co-signed a car loan for Leela to attend auditions in the city. It sounds small when I write it. It didn't feel small. It felt like being the utility player. I filled gaps. Mom asked if I could cover the electric bill for a month because the auto-pay glitched. Dad once texted me a shut-off notice like it was a distress signal, and I juggled a double shift and an exam to pay it. That night, Leela posted from a rooftop bar. Everyone commented slay. In my 20s, I moved in with Alex. He's steady in a way people mistake for passivity until they need someone to carry the heavy stuff. He watched me send $300 here, $150 there, always with asterisk just for now asterisk, never with a repayment date. He saw me rationalize while chopping vegetables. "They're in a pinch," I'd say. "Okay," he'd say. "What's the plan for next time?" There wasn't one. There was always a new gap, a sudden fee, a surprise bill. Leela's programs changed names, but the cost stayed steady. Mom pitched the travel fund after saying, "We'd love to see your place, but tickets are so pricey." I said, "We can chip in." She said, "Don't you dare," in the tone that means please do asterisk. Alex and I opened a savings sub-account labeled Parents Visit asterisk. We put $200 a month into it. I sent Mom screenshots, little green bars climbing. She sent heart emojis saying, "We won't touch it until fares drop." Meanwhile, she asked for bridge cash while Dad was between jobs. I set up a $250 auto transfer on the first because the asking hurt more than the giving. Leela texted one Friday night, card got declined at the drugstore. "Can you cover? I'll Venmo tonight." She didn't. Sunday, she posted a boomerang of clinking glasses. Caption: "Self-love vibes. It's so easy to think you're kind when you're actually draining. It's so easy to mistake endless giving for devotion." The first real crack came last winter. I had COVID, fever, shakes, the works. Leela sent me a reel about immunity smoothies, then asked if I could watch her dog for a retreat. I said, "I'm sick." She sent a sad emoji, then posted from the retreat, white robes, lemon water, sunlight. Mom commented, "You earned this, sweetheart." When my grandma passed in the spring, her will left a modest inheritance for the grandkids. Not massive, but enough to dent my student loan. Mom offered to hold my share to avoid fees or taxes. Alex squeezed my leg under the table. I told Mom I'd take a check. She frowned, then smiled too wide. "Of course." A week later, she said the estate was tangled and checks would take time. Leela posted a story from a boutique. "Grandma would have loved this." I buried the feeling that whispered, "This isn't random." Burying it is a skill you learn and unlearn slowly. Then came Mom's call about the tickets. She sounded drained. "We're so embarrassed, but we can't afford to visit. Fares are insane." I believed her because I wanted to. I said, "Another time." Then Aunt Carol's pool photo hit. The straw hat, the frosted drink, best family getaway ever. I nearly bit through my lip. I checked the travel fund. It wasn't empty. That would have been too blatant. It was low. Withdrawals marked asterisk cash transfer asterisk, bill pay asterisk, Sunshine Travel asterisk. Sunshine Travel was the agency Mom used for every childhood trip. The first withdrawal matched 3 round-trip tickets to that resort on a midweek deal. The second covered extras. The third split into Lux Lounge and airport parking. I stared until the screen blurred. I checked our main account. Zelle payments to Carol D, asterisk with heart emojis. A debit charge in Mom's town for Glass and Vine Spa asterisk. A Cash App transfer to Leela with a glitter emoji. The dates aligned with Aunt Carol's photo. I scrolled back and found 2 earlier transfers from the grandkids' inheritance account, which my uncle had sent to Mom at her request to streamline paperwork. Labeled family reimbursements asterisk. No one reimbursed me. I called my uncle. "Did Mom send you routing info for my share?" He sighed, the sound of someone dodging truth. "She asked me to wire both shares to her for fair division." I assumed she did. "She didn't," I said. "She spent it on a vacation." Silence crackled. "Maya," he said softly, "I'm sorry." I hung up and pressed my face into my hands. My phone buzzed. Aunt Carol, clueless, tagged me in a comment. "Missed you next time." I almost laughed. Alex stood by the sink, drying a mug slowly. Ready to call someone? He asked. I nodded. I'm done balancing books for liars. I found a lawyer through a friend who'd handled a similar mess with a relative on a shared account. Her name was Jenna. Her email came in 8 minutes. Bring statements. Bring texts. We'll sort what's emotional from what's legal. The next day we sat in her office, certificates on the wall, one thriving plant mocking my own wilted ones. I handed her the folder. She read page by page with a calm that made me feel less unhinged. Okay, she said finally. 3 categories: the travel fund with a clear purpose in texts, the inheritance that should have been yours, and the pattern of miscellaneous transfers. We'll focus on the big ones. Demand letter, secure your accounts, no phone arguments. Mom will call me dramatic, I said. She can email me, Jenna said, and I exhaled like I'd coughed up a rock. We changed passwords, blocked external transfers, and removed my card from the old family grocery app. Jenna drafted a letter with terms like asterisk misappropriation and constructive trust asterisk and repay within 10 business days. I read it twice, hands trembling. You sure? Alex asked softly. Yes, I said. I'm sure. We printed a copy because Jenna said some people only trust paper. At the bank, we flagged the travel fund and inheritance account, adding notes to block helpful relatives from accessing info. The manager was polite in that careful banker way. We can't settle family disputes, he said. I'm not asking you to, Jenna replied. In the car, my phone lit up Mom, then Dad asterisk. Then asterisk Leela. Then Mom again. Jenna said, don't answer. I didn't. At 5:03 p.m., Mom group texted, how could you do this to us? At 5:05, she called. At 5:07, answer your mother. At 5:09, Dad, you've always been harsh. At 5:10, Aunt Carol private, what's going on? Your mom's sobbing. At 5:12, Leela. Wow, over a trip asterisk, it wasn't about a trip. It was about the drawer that wouldn't shut. Jenna warned me Mom would either call a meeting or turn the group chat into a trial. Mom did both. Family dinner. Sunday, 6 p.m., no lawyers. Jenna said, I can't stop you from going, but I'll tell you what to say and what not to sign. We went, Alex by my side. I vowed not to yell or leave if my voice shook. The table was staged like a photo shoot. Linen napkins, wine glasses for people who swirl and sniff. Leela wore a breezy dress, fresh from a rooftop story captioned asterisk Sunday blues with laughing emojis. Dad stood by the stove in an apron that said grill master asterisk despite never cooking unless cameras were out. Mom greeted us with an air kiss. You look drained, she said. Stress isn't kind. We sat. The first 10 minutes were rapid-fire small talk, whether jobs, a cousin's kid's milestone. I waited, hands clasped under the table. Then Mom set her fork down with a delicate clink. Maya, she said, voice dripping with sadness, the one that used to make me over-apologize. Explain this letter. It's a request to return funds earmarked for a specific purpose, I said, and my inheritance, Dad scoffed. Inheritance. From my mother, we handled it. You spent it, I said. On cocktails, Leela smirked. Okay, bookkeeper, I turned to her. Leela, did you know the travel fund was for visiting us? I sent texts, I shared balance updates. She shrugged. Plans shift. You didn't tell me they shifted, I said, but you told Aunt Carol to tag you an asterisk best family getaway ever. Mom slapped her napkin down. I won't be shamed in my own house. You shamed yourself, I said, when you asked for bridge cash while floating in a pool. Alex's hand grazed my knee, a reminder to breathe. Dad leaned in. We raised you, kept a roof over your head. And I opened my wallet when you asked, I said. I've done that for years. Mom's eyes flashed. We're family, money flows. Not without agreement, I said. Agreement, Dad sputtered like I'd curse it at the table. Jenna had coached me, keep it simple, don't list every grievance, focus on the big rocks. 3 things, I said, raising fingers. 1, return the travel fund in full. 2, repay my inheritance by Friday via wire. 3, remove my info from any app, card, or bill that's not mine. No more loans, no more just until. If you need help, ask. I'll say yes or no. Mom's lips quivered. After everything. This isn't revenge, I said, voice steady in a way that surprised me. It's closure. I'm shutting a door that should have been locked years ago. Leela rolled her eyes. You thrive on drama. You thrive on other people's money, I said. This is me protecting mine. Dad's face reddened like he'd lost a bet. Think a lawyer scares me? She's not here to scare you, I said. She's here to stop you from bullying me into calling theft a mix-up. Mom pointed at the fridge, gesturing to some vague memory. We paid for your summer programs, your braces. You paid for parenting, I said. That's not a debt I owe into my 30s. Silence dropped like a thick curtain. For a moment, I almost apologized for its weight. Old habit, I swallowed it. Leela glanced at her phone. I mean Alex, she said, smirking, testing me. Isn't this overkill? We're family. Alex leaned forward, voice soft. Family doesn't hide their spending. If you needed money, you could have asked. Leela's face tightened. We did ask. Mom asked all the time. You asked and took, I said. That's the difference. Mom started crying, real or staged, I couldn't tell. You're destroying this family, she said. Over a few drinks. It's not the drinks, I said. It's the lies. The expectations, the way you made me feel small for caring about numbers while you shopped duty-free. Dad stood, chair scraping. Get out. I stood too, hands steady. Send the wire by Friday. If you don't, Jenna files. And we don't discuss money again. We talk about weather, fruit, books, not money. Mom sobbed louder. You're heartless. I looked at her. No, I'm done. Leela muttered. You'll regret this. I grabbed my bag. I regret not doing it sooner. We left. The night air felt like a cool towel. In the car, I stared at my hands. They felt like mine. The first day after was loud. My phone lit up like it was auditioning for chaos. 23 missed calls from Mom. 11 from Dad. 17 texts from Leela from over a trip lol to asterisk you're dead to me. 6 from distant relatives, your mom's heartbroken. Money isn't everything. Family is forever, call me. I muted the thread, made tea, and worked on my laptop like nothing had shifted. At lunch, I stared at the wall. At 2 p.m., my boss messaged, you okay? I replied, family stuff, I'm fine. He sent a thumbs up and a puppy gif. At 4 p.m., Mom changed tactics, we can talk. No lawyers. We're not thieves, then I raised you better. Then your grandma's turning in her grave. Then asterisk please. Jenna said not to respond until the money hit or didn't. They'll twist your words to make it your fault, she said. Silence is a boundary. At 7 p.m., Aunt Carol texted privately, I didn't know the travel fund was for you. Your mom said it was a group surprise. I'm sorry, I replied, thanks for telling me. She wrote asterisk should I talk to her. I wrote, not about money. At 9 p.m., Grandpa FaceTimed from his recliner, the ceiling-heavy angle. I don't get all this online nonsense, he said, but I know deceit when I see it. Proud of you for doing the tough thing with grace. That's rare. I cried after we hung, not wails, just quiet tears when your body decides to let go. Day 2 was calmer. Leela posted a story, a quote screenshot, beware those who weaponize boundaries. I closed the app and scrubbed already clean dishes. Alex took the sponge. Come sit. We watched 2 episodes of a show where nothing breaks. It felt like a warm blanket. On day 3, Dad showed up unannounced. The buzzer blared like a warning siren. Let me up, he said. No, I said. Text me. He ranted at the elevator camera. After everything, I hung up. Jenna had said, you can end a call. He texted, you've shamed us. Your mom can't sleep, I replied. Send the wire by Friday, then muted him. Friday, 9:12 a.m., a bank text, incoming wire pending. At 9:22, Jenna forwarded the bank's confirmation. Subject: funds received. The amount was the travel fund plus my confirmed inheritance, minus a sketchy processing fee I flagged. Jenna followed up. By 4 p.m., the rest hit as a transfer labeled as asterisk, like a half-hearted apology. At 6 p.m., Mom texted, hope you're happy. I didn't reply. At 6:02, she sent a photo of their dinner table, an empty chair, captioned, this is what money does to families. I stared, realizing the chair wasn't mine. It was for the version of me who never asked questions. The next week, we did ordinary things, bought a used dresser, debated peaches versus nectarines at the farmer's market. I slept through the night, a luxury I hadn't earned yet. When my phone buzzed, it was a friend asking about a pottery class. I said yes without checking anyone else's plans. Relatives trickled in, what's your side? Your mom's crushed, we don't air laundry. I saved a reply in my notes, I won't discuss money via text. Happy to meet for coffee to talk life. Most didn't respond. Leela tried one last jab, if you're about closure, prove it. Put the money in a shared family account for when we need it. I typed no asterisk and put her on do not disturb. Sunday came, no dinner invites. I made pasta and we ate on the couch. I didn't set an extra plate just in case. The quiet felt like the air after rain. It didn't hum, it rested.